Hey everybody, this is Nerds and Words. My name's Chase.
My name's Kevin.
And my name is Evan.
I didn't. It's not. It's not your turn.
Oh.
Anyway, we have a. This is
You
episode.
said we were going to discuss this first.
No, we're not discussing it. Anyway, this is episode 4 of our podcast, Nerds and Words, where we talk about nerdy stuff and we talk about wordy stuff. This is the episode that Kevin, not me, has told you guys to skip. And
I didn't say that.
You did say that, Kevin.
I didn't say that.
Multiple times. I have it on.
I don't
3 different
think
episodes.
that's not. I don't recall.
Anyway, we have a guest today. His name's Evan Foster. He's a great friend of mine, like a brother that I never had, except I do have a brother, so he's like the other one that I didn't have.
Yeah.
Evan, it's good.
Welcome, Evan.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm honored to be the first guest here on Nerds and Words, and I hope I can contribute at least some words.
That's what we're hoping.
Yep.
Because you already contributed the nerd part.
Try.
If you will, peep the shirt. It says dumbbells, deadlifts, and daughters.
Hashtag dad life.
Not that he's chasing daughters.
No, I have 2. They are.
Okay.
They're there.
They're there.
They're a lot.
They're my god kids too.
They are his god kids.
So I'm pretty excited about that because I can hype them up and then send them home. Anyway, Kevin, now you seem like you're lost. So
I'm along for the ride today.
along for the ride.
All right, you guys ready for the word? Kevin, make it pop up here, right here, like you always do.
Right there. I got it.
Today's word is childhood.
I had one of those.
I've had multiple, actually.
He's saying I have one of those.
See, this is why we brought him on, because he had a childhood.
I have first-hand experience. Let me tell you.
I hear not many people do, so it's crazy.
What about you, Kevin? You ever had a childhood?
I had one. Only one though.
Only
Just one.
Oh.
How many have you had, Chase?
I'm currently working on my 3rd one.
On your 3rd one?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Oh, if you count each decade as a childhood that you gotta go through.
No. I'll explain that when we get to that point in the podcast.
All right.
So, we're going to make like Kevin, no build up, and just jump right into the word, or right into the question of the week.
Into the deep end.
Into the deep end, and I can't swim.
Wait, you can't swim?
Not well.
Chase can't swim. I learned something new today.
Floating swimming, right?
I've known him almost 10 years. I did not know he couldn't swim.
I learned how to swim from having an embarrassment of telling people I didn't know how to swim. So I had to tell people I knew how to swim, and I ended up jumping off a cliff with some friends in some water, and it was either learn to swim or die. So that's how I learned to swim.
So you're the epitome of if your friends would jump off a bridge, you would too.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's literally that's literally what happened.
I can say I learned to swim in my childhood.
Oh, well, aren't you lucky?
You could say
Chase, so you really can't swim?
I can doggy paddle.
Can you float?
No.
Oh.
I'm kind of hefty.
So you can't tread water is what you're saying?
No, I can drink it, and if I can drink it quick enough, I don't have to worry about drowning in it.
So if I ever invite you to go boating...
Well, I have a fear of deep water too, so no.
Oh, okay.
We won't. Right. And as you can probably tell why I have a fear of deep water, it's because I can't swim.
That makes sense. Anyhow, what is our...
Yeah,
so... talking about the question? Is that what we were talking about?
Yeah, the question of the week. Kevin, You ready for this?
Bring it on.
I know you're not good with quizzes, but I got faith in you.
It's the math I'm not good at. I can do some quizzes.
But this involves numbers, so...
Oh, no.
Listen, I'm not good with numbers either. Just ask Chase.
Well, he's... you're okay. Yeah, you're good with numbers when you have... Anyway, back to the question.
To the question.
Man. All right, Kevin, if you had to rate your childhood on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it?
Bro, that's a deep question.
That really
not too deep because I'm afraid.
And he can't swim.
And I can't swim.
Keep it in the shallow end.
Yeah.
Oh,
and the second half of that question is, why would you give it that rating?
Oh, I have to explain. Okay.
It's such a hard question though, because I mean, what do you compare your childhood too. Apparently, Chase has had 3 of them.
I have.
So he has a lot to compare it to.
Exactly.
Does each one get better as you go, or is it?
You will find out in the next few minutes. Well, see, I asked the question because you have 2 siblings. Both are sisters, correct?
Yep. Yes.
I have a brother, and he is an only child.
0 siblings.
Okay.
So we all kind of have a different perspective on childhoods and
different backgrounds.
Different backgrounds. So I thought it was a good question. And if you guys want, I'll start off. That's fine. I have no problem.
Yeah, you go first. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So the first childhood, if you just take away the drama and the trauma and the terrible family members and living in a holler with no internet and limited friends, it was like a 4.
I really thought you were going to keep the rhymes going there for a second.
I just kind of off the top of my head. The first childhood I had, outside of all that, I lived in a holler with very little people, no internet, no car to get anywhere, so you made the best of it. But I had unlimited freedom to go wherever I wanted. Not that I could go anywhere. So, the second childhood, I'd give it a 6.
What's your second childhood? What is the criteria here?
Yeah, at what point does it restart?
So it restarts. The childhood restarts when you put yourself in a position to be a kid again. Like my late friend Cody Mullins said, miss him dearly. I'm just a 5-year-old with a bank account.
Okay, I get it.
So my second childhood really started the summer before I met this guy. Actually, no, it was the summer before I moved in with him.
That would be the summer before.
No, I met you during the spring. Then I went to North Carolina.
So then the summer before, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I started having money, and it was kind of a wild concept to me because I grew up poor. Mm-hmm. And so I started collecting things. I had Transformers, I had Dragon Ball Z figures. I hadn't started collecting Funko Pops yet, but I was well on my way, don't you worry. And then I got married, and that childhood died.
How'd that go? Is that what ended your second childhood?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, I'm in my third childhood, and as you can tell behind me, you get a small glimpse of how well that's going.
I don't want to know how much money's behind you on that wall.
I'm one step away from owning a Toys R Us, so I would rate this one a 10. Also,
you having a ball then? Okay.
I would say probably about $3,000 is behind me right now.
Okay. $3,000.
$3,000. So first childhood 4, 6 for the second one, 8 for the third.
Your actual childhood, where you were a child, is a 4.
Listen, I've never grown up. I've only grown facial hair.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I definitely haven't grown up either. So
from the time that I was born to 18 years old, that's a 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's only if you take away all the bad stuff. If we include that,
it's kind of rough.
We're going into negatives. We're going into your boy should have been in therapy for quite a long time. We're talking rubber room status.
Like with a jacket?
With a jacket that allows me to get the hugs that I needed.
I guess someone's got to hug you.
Somebody's got to hug me. And thankfully I have a wife that does that now.
And so I say it could have been just you.
It could have been just me.
So I'd hug you if you wanted.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Oh, Kevin, fun fact. I don't think you know this about my dude Evan here, and I know the listeners don't. But he's actually the reason I'm still alive. Him and my buddy Cody came and rescued me the last time that I tried to kill myself. So I want to brag about him on that because, quite frankly, he didn't know what to do. But he was
really
there.
didn't. I showed up. I just left work. I worked security at the time. I showed up in the security vehicle, still in uniform. I kind of knocked on the door, and I think his roommate came to the door, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here for Chase," and he's like, "Oh yeah, he's in the bedroom or whatever." I kind of walked in, and I didn't know what to do, but I was there, and I just stuck it out until until it was safe to leave, I guess.
Yeah, he made me give him all my sharp things.
That's good.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Good on you on that one.
Thank you.
I'm very appreciative for this guy.
It worked out, as you can see.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not dead.
Still here. Still here.
Not struggling. That's episode 1. All right, so now it comes down to you two. Which one of you guys want to answer first?
I can go.
Okay.
So I can say I had a very different childhood. First of all, I grew up in Minnesota. I'm not from around here. Big city.
Probably a good thing.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. And as we said, I was an only child. So that right there was night and day compared to here in West Virginia.
Yeah, I don't think there's very many like only children families anymore.
No, not many.
No, there's nothing else to do in West Virginia.
No, but it wasn't exactly poor.
Kevin's face.
Was it family friendly?
It is family friendly.
Didn't really
friendly is the problem.
But didn't really grow up rich or anything by any standard. Middle class, lower middle class. I don't. That's not something you really pay attention to growing up because you don't really know any different. But being an only child, I guess looking back was nice in the sense that I didn't have to share anything. So all my parents' attention, or if they were buying anything, it was me.
It was for you.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about splitting up Christmas or anything. It was you wake up on Christmas morning and
it's all
for me.
You didn't have to have a shared birthday party.
No shared birthday parties. You
didn't have hand-me-downs.
No hand-me-downs.
That's nice.
And I think because I wasn't an only child, my mom did her best to keep me in lots of activities. So like baseball, swimming lessons.
Oh, that would have been good. Should have went to Minnesota.
And just all kind of stuff like that, just to keep me busy. Even kept me in like after school daycare when I was really young. Not that I needed to be in daycare, but just so I could have some friends and interaction with other kids, which was fun. You're a little kid, I'll spend a couple hours after school and play.
Kevin needed that in high school. Go on, Kevin.
You gotta learn social skills somewhere.
I'll get there when it's my time to talk about childhood. I'm gonna let you know.
I guess I have to give it a number, don't I?
Yeah, you gotta
1 to 10.
1 to 10. You gotta rate it.
I have to rate it 1 to 10.
I mean, it sounds like you had a pretty good first childhood.
I would say at least an 8. The only thing ever I really regretted about growing up is not having a sibling, because there were times where it was kind of lonely.
Yeah, I have to give you that because probably the best part about my first childhood was my brother. Yeah. We had each other and that was it. If I didn't have him and I was living that hole in the ground, I'd be dead.
But had lots of freedom to go and kind of do what I wanted to for the most part. Living in the city, you had everything. That was the big thing and the big difference between where I grew up versus here in West Virginia is you had everything possible. If you've ever been up to Pittsburgh, you're in a big city. There's any kind of store, any kind of service you want, it's there. And we moved here, and it was kind of like,
it's like
where is everything? Where is everything? And I honestly, I've kind of come to appreciate that because it really slows you down once you appreciate what you have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Look at him. Look at him being philosophical already.
I'm trying.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, you had 2 sisters. Was you the oldest?
I was the oldest, and still the oldest.
I was
Neither of them have passed me or anything like that. So
that's surprising.
they're like, nah, we're gonna be older than you now, Kevin. That's how physics
Yeah,
work.
I'm the oldest. So I'm gonna give mine a 5. I had
Middle of the
uh
road.
I had loving parents. I had a household where I had everything I needed, a lot of what I wanted, and uh it was honestly a really good childhood. Here's my problem. Here's where all the negative comes in. I was in public school up until 3rd grade, and then my mama decided and my daddy decided that this is ruining our children. We're gonna homeschool them.
Oh,
Oh,
We're
you
gonna
had
homeschool them.
so
So for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and half of 8th grade, I was homeschooled. I know what you're thinking. Half of 8th grade? What about the other half? Yes,
yeah.
I was abruptly thrown back into public school at the worst
Surprise!
possible time. The worst possible time. Do
There's a
you
lot going on at
know?
that age.
Do you know how many social cues you pick up between 4th and 8th grade?
Oh,
a
there's
lot.
All
a
of them.
Yeah,
All of them. Because I had none. I had none. I walked in with zero no understanding of anything, how anything worked, I was bullied mercilessly. And looking back, I deserved it. I was a weirdo. It was
what
bad.
do you mean was? You still
I
are a
mean, I'm
weirdo.
still a weirdo, but I was a lot worse. This is
Explains-
tame in
explains
comparison.
some things.
This explains some things.
Yeah.
We're just two weirdos on the internet,
Yeah.
Evan.
It's
Oh,
fair.
now 3.
That's
You're
three.
a weirdo now. You've
I've
been
joined the
dubbed.
club. Knighted.
You've been knighted. So you give yourself a 5. Do you think that you would rate your childhood higher had you went to public school the whole time?
It depends
So
how that would
On
have
what?
went. I don't. A lot of things, man. I don't know. Like I remember dealing with a lot of really rough stuff because I just didn't fit in. And it's comedic. I'm not even going to try to make this some kind of serious thing. It's funny looking back because I just didn't understand normal things like how to talk to people, how to interact because I had like one friend and I hung out with him and that was it. Like during my homeschool time. When I got into public school, like it just is weird, man. I just didn't know what to do. And I remember getting bullied. I remember getting beat up in the locker room. I remember, you know, I remember this one kid chasing me down and stealing my sunflower seeds. He chased me down, tackled me to the ground, beat me up, and then took my sunflower seeds.
Dang.
So as I didn't mention, my experience was nothing like that. But K through 8, I was in private school.
Okay.
So not homeschooled, but it was private school.
We are so different.
And in 8th grade, right after 8th grade is when we moved to West Virginia. So I went from Minnesota private school to West Virginia public school right at that, 13, 14, becoming a teenager. And that was, in addition just to where am I, very socially awkward as well.
Yeah,
not knowing the culture, and again, going 8 years of private school in a different state. I didn't have a whole lot of friends my first year of high school.
They were like, "Welcome to 8th grade in West Virginia. Here's your first shotgun."
That how it went?
Yeah, I mean, it's only because he wasn't here for 4th grade, so
I didn't get the introductory course.
you did not get the
firearms.
no. See, I was in public school the whole time, and Kevin, you may have missed out on the social cues, but you did not miss out on the 4 years of bullying. I was bullied from the moment I arrived to the moment I left. Well, there was a kid in 1st grade. The first day that I was there, he comes up to me, and he grew up to be a great dude. But at the time, he towered over me. Okay, I weighed 140 in 1st grade. Okay, most of my shadow weighed more than most of the kids there. That's how big I was.
You were a big boy in 1st grade.
I was a big boy in 1st grade. This kid, he was probably like 210. He stood like 6 inches taller than me.
In 1st grade?
In 1st grade. Listen, childhood obesity in my county was like rampant. Anyway, he called me the fat kid.
Who bullies in 1st grade is what I want to know.
The kids I went to school with.
Like, it's first
This
grade.
is sounding so bizarre to me.
Like
Carefree.
I got
fun.
beat up by a kid with crutches because the other kids held me down and he just walloped me.
That's awful.
It was
Awesome.
awful.
Are we gonna have one of those things where we go back and forth and try to? I had the worst childhood. No, I had the worst childhood.
Yeah, it's your turn. You're
Mine
not
was
in this.
Pretty good.
You're not
In
this.
I'll let you two duke it
in
out.
freshman year in high school, in gym class, I remember all the kids pulling out their cell phones and recording as I got beat into the ground in the locker room. And then when we all left and it was clear I had just got beat up, the gym teacher said, "What happened in there, Sanders?" And I said, "Oh, nothing." And he was like, "Okay." Knowing something happened, he just let it ride.
I got my revenge on all those kids though. We all went to the same middle school and then the same high school, and well, I was the smart kid, and they needed my help. And
Where I thought this was going.
And when they, where did you think this was going?
Let's not talk about it.
So I tied them to a tree and covered them in honey. No, I mean I was bullied up until probably ninth grade. Which, funny enough, I stopped getting bullied when I was in theater.
Not to be stereotypical, but aren't those normally the kids that get bullied?
Normally, yes. But the thing is, in one play, I played a redneck so profoundly that I was revered. So they quit making fun of me.
Impressive.
So your acting skills are what got you out of your bullying?
Absolutely. I will take that accomplishment. That's on my list of accomplishments. I acted my way out of bullying.
Acted so well, the bullies left me alone.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't that good.
Hey, you're talking about you missed social cues? I didn't have like a real good father figure, so I never learned like how to talk to girls. So I had to figure that out on my own.
Same.
And let me tell you, that's a train wreck that I would love to watch today.
You grew up without a father figure, and so you had to learn how to talk to girls on your own.
Huh?
I grew up with a Southern Baptist father who actively discouraged me talking to females.
So he only wanted you talking to dudes?
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
It was wild.
There's a joke
There
there,
is a joke.
but I'm not going to make it.
Hey, you're welcome to make it, but be careful.
That's too funny. All right, so we all had different childhoods.
Very, very different.
How was I think this is a good question. How was the disciplinary actions taken in your household?
I can remember when I was very young. I got slapped across the face a couple times for saying something I probably shouldn't have.
Abuse.
And after that, I think I was just kind of like, you push those buttons, and all of a sudden, your mom starts to count to 3, and you're like, push it a little more, and she gets to like 2, and you're like, I am terrified of what's going to happen next, so now we're going to stop.
It's okay. So which I've met your mother, and I could definitely see her doing that.
Yes. Now, counting to 3 and 1, 2.
Honestly, if your mom
3.
started counting to 3 now as a grown man, I would probably still be like, okay.
Oh, I was terrified to get in trouble. Like, that was the problem. Being an only child, like there was no one else to blame for something going wrong.
So he was always busted.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't. Oh no, it was my brother. No, it was me. If I broke something, I couldn't. Well, it fell. How did it fall? Well,
I was being dumb.
I was playing with the thing you told me not to play with.
Ah, yes. That rule. I broke that rule a lot.
Yeah, or just something to that effect. Yeah.
What about you, Kevin?
Well, I got a little bit of everything. I got whipped. I got smacked. I got grounded. I got ground. I don't know what grounded was like for you guys. If you guys got grounded,
I got grounded.
grounded was no friends, no TV, no. Basically, I came home and did chores and went to bed.
I'd say that was
so-
pretty similar.
So your grounded was my childhood.
That's good. That's good.
Now,
But yeah,
how often did you get in trouble?
all the time. That's the thing. I never did anything bad. It was over stuff like talking in school, or if it was in school time and I got in trouble, it was because I was talking too much. I never did anything bad or wrong where I did something malicious. I never did any drugs. I never dabbled with alcohol. I never stole anything. I never did anything like that. My trouble was just things that I was told not to do and did anyway, or because again I like to talk, so I talk too much.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, that was me.
And what
I don't know.
Evan said.
I don't know. I don't know how you guys grew up, but like if you were told to do something by your parent and you just wanted to ask a question, that was considered back talk.
A little bit. It's like, hey, do this. I'm like, okay, but what? No, I said do this.
Yep.
Yeah, but I just need some. No, just do this. Don't make me say it again. I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah, it was yes ma'am, yes sir, no ma'am,
Okay.
no sir in my household.
Okay.
If it wasn't that, it was considered back talk.
You're like, Mom, why should I do this? Because of insert logical reason here. And they're like, you shut your mouth.
because I told you to.
Exactly.
Because I told you to.
And it was a lot of do as I say, not as I do.
As a father now, and my oldest, she's 2.5. I really told myself I really want to try to avoid the because I told you so and try to provide logic and reasoning. But as I've already experienced, sometimes it's just because I told you so.
2-year-olds don't know logic.
No, and so I'm hoping later on, it becomes a little more like that. But the patience, which that was that last episode's word or two?
That was second episode.
Yeah, patience. There's a lot of that involved.
Hey, look, it means
So-
he listens to the podcast.
I do.
Round of applause.
Oh, well, you listen, you can tell us. Nobody said to skip episode 4, right?
I think.
Don't
I
you
think
succumb to this gaslighting.
I recall someone saying something about 4, which is
How great
ironic
it was going to be,
because-
and how much we should watch it.
because I jokingly mentioned about being a guest, and was immediately told, yes, you're good for episode 4. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then the very next episode that came out, I was told to skip episode 4. So
Well, see, we don't.
I had some questions about that.
We don't joke around here, Evan. So when you made a joke about it, I took it seriously.
Yeah.
This is a serious podcast, Evan. In
No,
case you can't tell.
it's not.
So how getting back on topic here, as we tend as
Which topic?
of how you got punished.
Oh, okay.
I either had the belt or the paddle. That's it. There was
What
no,
was the paddle? Could you go into a little more detail? What kind of paddle are we talking?
You put your dirty mind away, Kevin.
Was there a
I wasn't trying to be dirty.
Kevin,
So-
I'm just messing with you, man.
I know some
Gross.
kids, not kids anymore. Some people have said there was like a paddle on the wall, and that was the beaten paddle. Was that the kind of paddle, or
Yes.
did you have to go get the paddle and give it to your mom?
No, my mom kind of summoned it like Thor summons his hammer. Listen, one of the most, I'm going to say iconic because I will never forget this. I could forget everything in my entire existence, but I will never forget this. My mom was cooking one day, and me and my brother were me and my brother. We were doing stuff that we probably shouldn't have been doing. She kept telling us to quit. She was busy. She didn't have time to, beat our, I'm going to say it, beat our ass. Rear. And she was cutting up vegetables or something. And about the 4th time, the cutting board was a big solid wooden cutting board and it had a handle on it. I remember her just looking at us, not saying a word. And we looked at her and she grabbed the cutting board and smacked it against the counter and broke it in half. And then proceeded to wear us out with it. And I was like, I kind of don't want that to ever happen again. So
This reminds me of a story.
This reminds you of a story?
Yes.
Oh, Evan's got a story.
Well, it's completely unrelated.
Completely unrelated.
Completely unrelated.
That's how. Wait, how did my mom beating me just completely? All right.
Reminds me of a story. Completely
Kevin,
unrelated, though.
We just let him tell the unrelated story.
No, okay.
Go for it.
It's actually just a very short and simple story. But our late friend Cody Mullins, back in college, we were hanging out, we were drinking. I forget how this happened, but he took a wooden spoon and hit me so hard in the rear that the spoon broke. I think that's the hardest I've ever been hit in the rear, and I remember it to this day.
That's kind of related.
That's related. It was a wooden object hitting you in the butt.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't get much better than that.
The reason I asked about what your battle was like, when we were kids, my dad was very serious all the time. But I think the happiest I ever saw him was we had gone yard selling. And we pull up at this church. This church was having a yard sale. And on the table was what I believe was a relatively thick cutting board. One of the ones with the handle like carved into it.
Yeah.
He picks it up, and I'm thinking, oh, Dad's getting a cutting board. He's going to... No, he's like, dude, this is going to be the perfect whipping paddle. And I'm like...
From that
we go home.
Kevin did not like yard sales.
We went home. No, it gets worse. We went home, and he goes out to the shop, the garage, and is drilling holes in it to make it more aerodynamic.
That way, when it hits you, it pulls the skin in.
Full force. Yeah, full force.
No air resistance. Just
no air resistance. No.
None whatsoever.
Your dad was a physicist of pain.
He's a genius. he was a genius.
Was that ever used on you?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I had other things too: switches, belts.
Kevin's a master.
Anything that could be grabbed in arm's reach, hands, whatever. I mean, anything, man.
Kevin, you sound like you were just the perfect child.
Those are the vibes I got.
I was schmedium.
Schmedium.
All right.
See, we got in trouble, but once my parents got divorced, me and my brother pretty much had free reign. I remember 1 year for Christmas, it was in that, that transition time, when you start to smell and people, all your family buys you cologne and deodorant. And so most of our family didn't really talk to us, but they still felt obligated to buy us stuff. So literally everybody bought us deodorant and cologne. The $1 things from Family Dollar or whatever.
The real cheap stuff.
Yeah, the real cheap. When you put it on, you're like, I don't want to smell like that at all. I would rather just poop myself and walk around with that.
You'd be surprised how many of those I run into.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, me and my brother decided that we were going to do something else with all these. And we discovered that they were flammable. Oh, no. Kevin's face just dropped. Well, you see, we lived in a holler, and there wasn't a lot of people around.
What exactly is a holler?
We will get that in a second. Let me finish my story.
All right. For the people that don't live in West Virginia.
So I definitely don't know what a holler is.
We took we had 9 bottles of cologne. We took all of them, and we put them in this stump. And this stump has been in our yard for as long as I can remember. It's just there. It needed to be taken care of. Nobody would ever take care of it. So me and my brother was like, let's set this stump on fire. So we set it on fire using the cologne that we'd acquired from our various family members. And
so far this seems like a standard childhood.
It is. It was very standard, except for we had a deodorant that was also flammable, and we wrote our names on the side of the house and lit it on fire.
The deodorant or the house?
The house. We lit the deodorant that was written on the house on fire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In hindsight,
In hindsight,
not intelligent. But in the moment, my name was just written in flames. It was kind
I feel like regular sight should have told you that one.
it probably should have.
Sight should have told you.
So anyway, we were spraying this stump with as much as we could. He's lighting it on fire. It was smoldering. We like, all right, we're bored now. So we went to do something else.
The flaming stump wasn't entertaining enough.
It wasn't. And so we threw all these bottles into the stump. Well, like an hour later, we're outside, and the stump explodes. Just like movie explodes. It shoots fire straight up. And it like if I had a slow motion camera for this part of my life, I would have had so many memories. But like the stump just evaporated with 9 bottles of cologne. And
that's the day Chase learned about combustible gases.
It was, and that was also the day that my family realized that they should not buy me anything flammable. So we got socks for Christmas.
I've gotten socks for Christmas every year from someone in the family, and if I ever don't get socks, I'll sue. That's just the way it is.
What?
I hated getting socks.
Listen, socks. It's just like I don't buy socks because I know I will get socks for Christmas.
But now I love socks.
Socks are amazing.
Socks are amazing. That's
the crazy thing. So like things you view as a child that were boring, and now that you're an adult, it's just amazing, and like vice versa.
Yeah, like women.
Like when you first discovered an air fryer.
Oh,
yeah,
or
I
a woman.
said women, and you said air fryer. Kevin, you got a girlfriend? No, I bought a new air fryer though.
No, but check out this air fryer.
Oh my god!
It'll get you the perfect crisp
every time.
Every time.
You ever had them air fryer pizza rolls though?
Yes, I have.
It's amazing. If you paint on a little bacon grease as you get ready to cook.
Actually, those pizza rolls are better than some women I know, so I'll give you that.
Here, I'll pose a question.
Oh, you posed the question of you want to know what a holler is.
I did, but let me pose this other question first.
Okay,
we'll get back to the
holler. We're just piling up questions left and unanswered.
We'll get back to the holler at some other time.
We'll
Future episode.
Here in a second.
We'll holler back at you. Oh, he's a dad. He's got the puns.
What is one thing, regardless of if your childhood was a 4, 5, 6, or 7? What is one thing you miss in your childhood?
Oh, that's a good question. Kevin, I know it takes you a little while to compose a thought, so I'll go ahead. Kevin, I'm trying to get you to roast me back, and you just won't do it.
Listen here, big titties.
There you go. Oh, Evan, you don't know about that story. Good Lord.
We'll save that for episode 5.
Yeah.
No,
that was a throwback if I ever heard one. We're gonna leave them in suspense and tell them that story later.
We'll tell you later. It's a good one though.
Like and subscribe to find out about big titties.
No, we don't say that here.
Don't say it like that.
We don't do that here. We tell them if they enjoy it to come back and join us next time. That way it doesn't sound needy.
Sounds needy already, though.
I guess, yeah, he's a guest. He can say that, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, to answer your question, I would say the thing I missed most about my 4-star out of 10 childhood would probably be the amount of time that I got to spend with my brother. He lives in North Carolina now, and I don't get to see him that often. I play games with him every now and then. We're both, busy, but I keep up with him, and I miss him dearly. So I'm kind of hoping he's listening. At least he better be, because support. But but I miss hanging out with him, and just the bond that we got from living in that holler and that crazy experience that's not ever going to go away. And I wouldn't change my first childhood for anything in the world because of that. I love you, bro.
You too.
What about you, Kevin? What would you change, or what did you like most, or what do you miss? I don't know the question anymore. I'm drinking.
It was just a few seconds ago, brother. I don't.
Careful.
I'm 10-second Tom.
Careful with that water.
This is vinegar.
He can't drink. He can't drink, and he can't swim.
So the question is, what is something that you miss?
About your
Something
childhood.
I miss about my childhood. I miss not having to pay bills, man.
Oh,
I
yeah,
miss
man.
not having any stress whatsoever. My stress was homework. I miss a video game coming out and being able to play the entire thing like in a week because I got all that time to play.
Yes.
I miss spending time with my family, like, and it just I don't know, like it's hard to explain. I spend time with my family now, but it's different now.
I was just getting ready to say you live like 10 minutes from.
We see each other every day. If they're listening, y'all know what I'm saying. We're together all the time, but it was different back then because we weren't married or we weren't like we didn't have our own thing going on, so we were just together every day, and I kind of missed that a little bit.
So you just
But
miss
if I had
being
to,
a kid.
yeah, I think if I had to, I don't know what I have what to say as far as the one thing I miss the most. You're gonna have to go with the money thing. Not having to worry about money. That's a big one.
That's a big thing. That's definitely part of my answer. Just just not having responsibilities. Like you said, like the most biggest responsibility: go to school and do your homework. Come home, play games. You're carefree, and not spending your own money. If you want something, hopefully your parents buy it
You're
for you.
spending,
That's it. Just a whole carefree life. Now, like bills. You have to pay your bills. You have to go to work to pay your bills. Now, if you're sick, your parents aren't there to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and the only thing you had to worry about was missing a couple assignments
Yeah.
at school, not getting pointed at work and maybe fired because you were sick.
Yeah, you don't have the anxiety from calling in sick at work.
Yeah,
Right.
that was last episode. We're plugging all the episodes.
All of them.
Well, your two answers just made me realize that I love my brother more than money. So take that as you will.
Would
That's
you
a good
fight
thing.
a gorilla to see your brother?
What was your answer to that question?
He said he told me that the gorilla was catching those hands.
But in reality, no. See, my
I want to hear this.
No. See, my problem is, as you said, you're alive or you survive, but like you can be in a coma and you're still alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't know. You don't know the details.
So I would not. I said that in jest, but no, in reality, I would not fight a gorilla.
Oh,
I would not take the money
fight the gorilla.
to fight the gorilla, or however that works.
Anybody who says they would watch the Planet of the Apes and then come back and tell me that you would.
And that brings up a good question though, because did you answer the other two questions that we posted?
I did.
Well, the first one.
The first one was do you want $100,000 now in pennies or $1 billion in 10 years? And first of all, I'm the one that told you that weighed 54 Snorlaxes.
You did,
and there was no credit given.
There was no credit,
so
because I was kind of hoping you wouldn't bring that up.
The write-up will be in your box, as they say at work.
He was kind of hoping you would bring it up.
I'll send you a check for royalties.
So to answer that question real quick, I will take $1 billion in 10 years, and because $100,000, regardless of how it was given to me, it pays off my house. Well, not completely. It pays off the majority of my debt, and then that's it. But in 10 years, I survived for 10 years. $1 billion, that sets me for the rest of my life. My wife, my first wife, for the rest of my life, and my two children.
Megan, I hope you're listening.
For the rest of their lives. So I think waiting 10 years for that financial security is worth it.
Okay, that's fair.
That's a good answer.
And I'll tell you what, because I feel bad about the credit thing, what we're going to do to fix this is we're going to give you the proceeds that we've made from the first 3 episodes all to you.
You know what, man? Yeah, we discussed that, and we're happy to give that to you. We always want to give back to our viewers. So I'll get you that. as soon as possible.
You want it in cash or a check?
You just PayPal. That's fine.
I only
PayPal?
have Venmo.
Yeah.
Cash App.
Oh, and the first question, we're struggling. We didn't really have one, but I made one up on the polls.
There was no question on the very first episode.
There was a question. It was, is a hot dog a sandwich?
He put it on Spotify with the post, right?
Yeah, it said, is a hot dog a sandwich?
That's right. You did put that on there, and that's a really hard question.
It's a sandwich.
It's simple. It's very simple. No.
I voted, and I think I said it was a sandwich, but I think I've thought about it, and I don't know if it is.
It is a sandwich.
It's not a sandwich.
A sandwich is a piece of bread, things in the middle, and then another piece of bread. Mm-hmm. A hot dog is one continuous piece of bread.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of a wrap. So technically, if it was going to be anything, it's a wrap. A hot dog's a wrap.
Gentlemen, what you're saying is when you go to Subway and they don't cut your sub loaf all the way through, that you're eating a hot dog.
It's a sub.
No, it's a wrap.
Well, okay, and what is a sub? A sub is a sandwich. I rest my case.
It's a Subway.
Listen, Kevin, you can be wrong all day long. That's fine.
I'm telling you right now, a hot dog's not a sandwich.
Hot dog is a sandwich.
Read the votes. Agreed with me. It was over. Hot dog's not a sandwich.
A lot of people can be wrong. It's fine.
And they are.
And they are.
And they are.
I don't know how hot dogs being a sandwich has anything to do with childhood. Oh, I know how it does.
I mean, I ate a lot of hot dogs as a child.
I did.
I used to eat ketchup sandwiches as a kid.
Can you elaborate for a second on that, Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin. Could you
ketchup sandwiches?
I mean, I had mayonnaise sandwiches, but that was
so when I was
wait. I gotta get close.
When I was a kid,
ketchup sandwiches.
Like
when I was a kid, I would go to school and they would give us hot dogs.
Okay.
I would take off the hot dog and just put ketchup in and eat it. But now that I'm saying it, that was a sandwich. So maybe a hot dog is a sandwich.
Yeah. What?
Oh no.
I want to just pinpoint the moment that he realized what he was saying. His eyes got as big as saucers.
Oh no.
So, Kevin realizes that he's been wrong since his childhood where he ate ketchup sandwiches.
Yeah.
No, he's not ever going to be the same.
I'm going to cut that out. I'm not going to post that.
Yeah, just call
the editor.
He'll take care of it. If we don't make that joke at least once an episode, we're not doing something right.
Until we actually have an editor. And we'll stop making that joke.
No, we'll still tell him. Like, hey, can you cut that out?
Cut that.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, wow.
I think it's good that we all had different childhoods and different experiences, because I think we all got in here and was spoon-fed our whole life, and we'd have better cameras. So.
and lighting.
Decent.
Yeah, better lighting.
I definitely have a better light, yeah.
I got a solar eclipse over there. We're getting there.
One step at a time.
Step. Yep. It's only episode 4 that you were told not to skip. Because that's
no one told you to skip. If you're watching this like against somebody telling you to not watch it, it wasn't us. We didn't tell you.
You know, you better find the person that did. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know whose idea that was.
Yeah, they
I bet it was Mr. Big Titties.
Should we tell them the story?
Episode 4 title, Mr. Big Titties.
Is that what we're titling it, man? No. Is that what we're calling the episode? We haven't even told the story.
Well, we haven't really been paying attention. So.
I guess that's our title.
It just occurred to me 5 minutes ago that no possible titles have come up. I'm like, oh no. What's the problem?
Actually, we should name the title what I told you I was going to get a shirt of made for you.
What? Oh, what was it?
I said, I looked at his shirt where it says dumbbells, deadlifts, and daughters. I was going to tell him I was going to give him a shirt that said muscles and MILFs.
That's right.
Has nothing to do with the episode.
None of our stuff has to do with the episode.
Well, okay. Your very first title. I think so far the titles have kind of flowed with the episodes.
Yeah, Mr. Big Titties doesn't really go with childhoods.
Well, it can if we tell the story, because we were kids back then.
There you go. We were kids back then.
We were kids back then.
That's the title.
Oh no, the title is "I'm Just a 5-Year-Old with a Bank Account." There we go. Kevin wants to put Mr. Big Titties on the internet, don't you? Don't
really
you, Kevin?
That really is the problem though, being a 5-year-old with a bank account, because I look at all my debt and I look at all the which we haven't talked about any nerd stuff. We need to squeeze some nerd stuff in here. All the nerd things I have. Magic cards. I just decided I'm building a PC, even though I'm like, my debt is up here, but I'm like, just keep charging it. It's fine. In 10 years, I'll get $1 billion.
It's a Charmander.
And everything's okay.
Well, that's what I told him. He was trying to pay down his debt, and I said I've just adopted the new philosophy that, well, the debt will be there, but I'm gonna live. So,
at what cost?
I'll look at my debt and I tell myself, stop it. But I'll see something new and shiny, and I'm like,
he starts getting the crack itch.
I'm the same way, so I get that.
Or like, when you're like, hey, Evan, you should probably, do something about your fence. And he's like, I did. I bought magic cards.
I have a roommate. His name's Curtis. He lives in my basement.
Shout out to Curtis. I know you're not listening.
That's all you need to know about him right now. But
he's a basement goblin.
2 years, he's been telling me to fix my deck, and I've cleaned it a couple times, and I stripped the paint. And eventually, I will paint it.
You painting your magic deck?
That deck.
Yes.
So he's like, so I got some soul rings and some full arts.
The back deck of my house. Because it really does need painted. The wood is deteriorating. I've probably spent thousands of dollars on cards and other things in the meantime. But one day, I will buy paint.
Yep, and it's when his daughters are old enough to paint the deck for him. And that's going to be their childhood. It comes full circle.
Someone's got to mow the grass.
That's why you had kids.
Someone's got to mow the grass. That's the title.
That's the title. Somebody's got to mow the grass. And it ain't going to be me.
That's it right there. That's the one.
Somebody's got to mow the grass.
And it ain't going to be me.
Okay, did you guys mow the grass growing up, or did your parents or siblings do that?
We had a goat.
Did you really?
We didn't have a mower.
We had a goat.
We didn't have a mower.
Did he eat your shoes? Do goats really eat shoes?
The goats will eat anything you put in front of them. Much like me in my childhood.
I ate a lot.
Pause.
Did you ever eat a shoe?
In its entirety? No.
Oh.
Gotta leave them wondering.
Right.
I'm still wondering what a holler is.
Just like anything me in my childhood. You're killing me, man.
I tried to tell you what a holler was, and you said we'll circle back to that.
All right, we're circling.
Is that the positive note we're going to end on? What's a holler?
What's a holler?
No, we're not going to end.
Are we gonna end on Mr. Big Titties?
No.
I think that's a great story.
It is a good story. I can tell that story, and then we can do the positive note if you want.
All right, tell the story.
All right, so, a couple years ago, me and Kevin and a third-party friend that we had that hung out with us a lot, and he doesn't do that now. We were all on Kevin's porch. Kevin was the only one with a house at the time, and not that I was homeless, I just didn't own a house.
I didn't either.
And we were all just roasting each other, mostly Kevin. We was trying to get him to roast us back, and he's like a sponge. He just absorbed all of it. He didn't care. Well, I said something to him, and I was like, "Come on, Kevin, roast me." And he goes, "Yeah, well, you're Mr. Big Titties." And I lost it. I laughed so hard. And after we got done laughing, I was like, where did you come up with that? And he goes, I didn't even think of that on my own. I stole that from some show or something. I was like, you didn't even come up with your own insult. You just stole it.
Yeah, I stole it.
It didn't help I was wearing a bra that day, but...
What was that push-up bra?
No, there was nothing to push up. They were natural. They just hung there. Well, I got scoliosis
Double D's.
now.
Dude.
All right. Is it about that time?
It's about that time. What's our positive note for today?
About that time.
About that time. A positive note for today is no matter the childhood that you may or may not have, whether it's a 4 or it's a 10, no matter whether or not you grew up in a holler, which you guys still don't know what that is.
Stay tuned for episode 5.
Episode 5, I'll tell you what that is. But it doesn't matter the childhood you have. It matters who you grow up into. Don't let the adversity or the silver spoon or whatever the case may be, don't let it change who you should be. Always grow up to be kind, grow up to be a positive influence, and I know that we roast Kevin a lot, but he can take it. One day he'll roast us back. Hashtag Kevin roast.
Yeah, that's the trend we start. Okay.
Not, so yeah, that's the positive note. No matter where you came from, you are in control of where you go.
I like that.
I like it too.
I just thought of it.
I just want to say thank you guys for having me on your show, being the first guest. Like I said, enjoyed it.
Absolutely, glad you were able to come
Anytime.
out. I know it's past your bedtime, but
It is. When you have kids, you gotta go to bed early.
that's fair. But we do appreciate you making the time to come out.
Absolutely.
You guys.
Hopefully have you on another episode for sure.
I was just getting ready to say this is not the first time, or this won't be the last time. This is the first time. I'm a nerd that can't word, so I don't know when we're gonna have our next guest. I know Kevin's got a couple people that's interested, so we will keep you updated on that. And if you guys liked it, come back and join us for another one. If you didn't like it, tell your friends to go watch it or listen to it, and don't tell them you didn't like it until after they listen to it.
Yeah, don't be spreading the negative.
Yeah.
Wait till after they've watched it, then you can.
Then you can spread the negative. and if they don't like it, you tell them to tell somebody else to watch it, but not the bad parts yet.
We'll find somebody to watch it. I mean,
hey, Evan watches it.
I do.
So
hey.
All right. Well, I guess Kevin, we'll see you in episode 5. Evan, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And I guess we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys on the next episode.